Hello, this is Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com. This is your Driving in Wyoming podcast, and this week we're going to be in the 2014 Scion FR-S. When it comes to entry-level sports cars, it's difficult to think of any that outmatch the FR-S in terms of value for the horsepower. The FR-S is a low-slung, low-price sports coupe with a fast pace and great handling. Any great sports coupe, no matter what its price tag is, its 0 to 60 time is, or what its nameplate is, must have three things to be considered great. First, it has to be offered in some sort of flamboyant red color that just screams, "Pull me over." Second, it has to have a manual transmission. And third, it must be wholly impractical. Those three things are required for any great sports coupe, and the 2014 Scion FR-S fits all those criteria. Our test vehicle was bright red with a 6-speed manual transmission, and it seated two and had an option for yoga masters in that 2+2 back seat. The Scion FR-S, of course, is part of the Toyobaru family of cars. This includes the Subaru BRZ and the Toyota FT86. Having driven the BRZ on the racetrack, I found that the Scion FR-S is very, very similar. The real difference here is in the interior, but otherwise they drive the same. They are great cornering machines, great driving machines. They drive very, very well. They are not the fastest car on the road. They are not the best car on the road. But for $25,000 or less, they are awesome. The Scion FR-S is powered by a 2.0-liter horizontally opposed four-cylinder engine that outputs 200 horsepower and 151 pound-feet of torque. Horizontally opposed means Boxster. Boxster means Subaru. It's a Subaru drivetrain, even though this is a Scion or Toyota car. We had it in the 6-speed manual. There's a 6-speed automatic option, and all of that drives the rear wheels. It's a rear-wheel drive sports car. Most drivers can expect to get 0 to 60 times of somewhere around 7 seconds. The car itself, as we drove it, was $24,700. We had it at just about the highest price point you can buy this car. Now, of course, it's Scion. Scion does not have trim options. So this car has all the stuff, and then there are a handful of dealer options you can add to what we had. But for the most part, this is probably the package most people are going to buy it in. So for about $24,500, $25,000, you get some great stuff. This is a great little car. It comes standard with 17-inch alloy wheels. It has air conditioning, height-adjustable driver's seat, which is a must for somebody as tall as myself. Has telescoping steering, is cruise control, Bluetooth, and a nice 8-speaker sound system, and a 6.1-inch touchscreen. The FR-S, being a Scion, uses a Pioneer system and is way more navigable than the standard Toyota offering. You can add some dealer options like satellite radio, navigation, some exhaust tuning, things like that. But for the most part, this $24,700 price tag is what you are going to pay, what most buyers are going to pay. On the outside, the FR-S is just beautiful. All the Toyobarus more or less look the same, and they are all great-looking cars. It's a flowing Japanese sports car look that you really won't find anywhere else. Also, it has a tiny little 86 nameplate, which appears on both the FR-S and the FT86 in honor of Toyota's historic sports coupes. That badge is a little odd because at first glance you might think it's a swastika, just to note that. But this car has strong, simple lines and attracted more than one person to me. I took it to the golf course in Cheyenne, and I had everybody from 20-somethings to old men coming up to me and saying, "Wow, that's a beautiful car. What is it?" On the inside, the interior is very Spartan, but it's comfortable. It has sport bucket seats, which are nicely done. They're comfortable despite the way they hug you in. You won't get anything in those rear seats, I will tell you that straight away. Getting child safety seats in there was a very, very difficult task and did not prove to be very useful, very helpful, but it's a sports coupe. Practicality is secondary to that. It does have a decent-sized trunk. You can get enough stuff in there to make grocery shopping and a few other things possible in this car. Now, controls for driving and entertainment are very simple, have no fuss. The touchscreen and rear backing camera are very small, but really in this car you don't need a backing camera. The one big drawback to this car is shift throw. For a sports car, the lever travel on the manual transmission is very long, and the transmission's a little bit touchy about the coordination between the clutch and that shifter. For an entry-level sports car, this is fine because it forces the driver to tune in with the car, which is what you need to do to drive a sports car well. However, for somebody who has driven sports cars before and who understands them, this will seem a little clunky. But again, this is not meant for experienced sports car drivers. This is an entry-level sports car. It's meant for newcomers. For that, it's very, very good. And the synchro mesh is loose enough that you can gear by just touching the clutch pedal rather than shoving it all the way in. On the road, this car is not about speed. There are lots of cars that will go faster than this car, and a lot of them are in the same price point. However, this car drives very well and corners awesome. So it does beautiful cornering, and it just feels comfortable all the time. It doesn't try to push you too much, but it does make you feel like you're in a sports car, and that's what's important here. It's comfortable enough for a long drive, but where you really enjoy this car is on short stints when you're driving through some of the narrow winding streets of Cheyenne, or you're out on some of these country roads out here. The car just begs you to take corners at speed and to give a little too much throttle when you start out so you can bark the tires some. Stuff like that. It just wants you to act like you're in a sports car. It just eats up freeway on-ramps. It kills the hard corners. And it will go just about anywhere with pavement. It's a great little car. There's no competitors to this. A lot of people try to compare it to the Ford Focus ST or the Scion TC or even the Mazda MX-5 Miata. And that's really not a comparison because those are all front-wheel driven sports cars that may be in the same price point, but they drive very, very different. They're totally different cars. So what this is a great little sports coupe. It's a fun car, has a lot of great styling. It's better looking than any of those three that I've already mentioned, with the possible exception of the MX-5, simply because the Miata has its own little persona. But really, this is a fun, sporty, impractical, flashy little car, and you really can't ask for anything more out of a small sports coupe. This is the perfect midlife crisis mobile because it will not ruin your bank account. So, great car here. Had a lot of fun in the 2014 Scion FR-S. So, for Driving in Wyoming, this has been Aaron from AaronOnAutos.com. We'll talk to you again soon.